everyone. Today we are going to discuss Degree 3rd Sem 3rd Unit Poetry La Belle Dame Sans Mercy, written by John Keats. Let us understand the title first. So it is actually a French title. La Belle Dame Sans Mercy means La means the, Belle means beautiful, Dame means lady. In English we call dame. In French it is dame. Sans means without. Mercy means pity or kindness. So the meaning of the title is the beautiful lady without pity or kindness. That is the meaning of the title, students. It is actually a French title. So a little bit of pre-reading activity. I always tell that you should not overlook the pre-reading activity because that will pave a way, that will lead you into the main story. So the poem you are about to read is structured like a song that tells a story. That is called as the ballad. A song that tells a story is known as a ballad. So this poem which you are going to read now, the 12 stanzas which you are going to read is in the form of a ballad. Means you can sing it like a song and it tells a story. So there are numerous songs about love in every language. What recurring ideas, images and the themes do you find in songs about love? So this is for discussion, students. You have to discuss if you know any other themes or ideas or images. You can rely on the recent movies. What is the quality of the movies? Are they viewable? That means can a family sit together and watch the movies which project the theme of love? Or what are the what is the richness which is showed in the form of direction or cinematography? What are the things, whatever things you enjoy in these movies which depict love? So that discussion we have conducted in our class, and that was really a very interesting discussion, students. Really, let me confess honestly, I had a little bit of a kind of low opinion on the present generation. I thought they are just, a kind of zen feeling. They don't, they do not have any emotions. That was the idea I had. But after the discussion I really wondered, what kind of deep thoughts the present generation has it. And it was like an eye-opening experience even for me as a teacher also. The students came out with wonderful ideas, wonderful depictions in the movies, in the novels, in the books they read. A few students read the books also. So there was a very interesting discussion, student. And I want all of you to participate in the discussion with your friends or with your relatives or anyone. So this is an important aspect of any lesson, students. Do not overlook the pre-reading activity. Now, little bit about the author. The works of John Keats, who was born in 17th century and died in 1821, have greatly influenced later writers, means the followers, and are still very popular today. That is why you are reading the poem even till today. After so many hundreds of years, he has written, you are reading it. Because his poems blend beautiful imagery. Imagery means the things, the objects, the elements which you find around yourself. So that there is a blend of philosophical thought into these objects. So the Belle Dame Sans Mercy is written in the form of a ballad. You know the meaning of a ballad, telling the story of a knight. Any idea what a knight or who a knight is? He's a soldier, a very brave soldier who met an otherworldly lady. That means a lady from the other world or a fairy lady. The pitiless lady could symbolize, so there is a comparison between this lady. Lady means it need not be a human form. Maybe the poet is symbolizing a kind of a disease or some poetry or the cruelty of life itself. Maybe the life, for some people, the life appears very beautiful, but there will be some bitter things going on in them. It will be a rough patch for many people. So the might represent somebody suffering from an incurable disease, or a poet who can never become extraordinary, or just a sensitive human being for whom life, though beautiful, is painful to experience. The poem may also be about the dangers of addiction. Thus, despite the simplicity of its narrative, the poem is open to many interpretations. There are many interpretations. Who is this lady? actually the poet is talking about. Actually, there is a kind of personal element in this poem, students. John Keats himself is the protagonist. Protagonist means the main character, the knight in this poem, and he is writing about his own autobiography because at the very young age he was attacked with a disease called tuberculosis. The short form is TB, and he died at a very very young age. And before this poem was written, just 2 years ago, his brother Tom died with the same disease. In those days, London was captured with this disease called as, the disease tuberculosis, which was mentioned as consumption disease, students. So it was very, very common in those days, and there was no treatment. Till recently, people believed that if anyone contracted TB, they would die. So there was no cure at all, and most of the people used to contract this disease in London. So even John Keats also has contracted this disease, and he was a very handsome person, and he had many girls as friends. And out of all of them, he loved a girl called Fanny Brown, but she never cared for him. So that was also a blow for him because he loved her so deeply and he was so desperate to continue his relation with her, but she never wanted him in her life. So all these bitter incidents provoked him to write this poem, students. So this is a little bit of background we can have in our mind while we read the poem. And the literary devices, these are the figure of speeches which he has used in the poem. Metaphors, the direct comparisons. Personifications, non-living things are treated as human beings or living things. Similes, again comparisons. Allusions are the references to some quotes, very famous quotes. Then imagery, you all know that using objects and other things, nature elements to enhance the beauty of the poem. So these are the literary devices which are used in the poem, students. Now we are moving into the poem. La Belle Dame Sans Merci. John Keats, first stanza. Oh, what can ail thee, night at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge is withered from the lake, and no bird sings. Oh, oh represents that somebody is asking a question. It is an inquiry of an empathetic observer. Maybe there was a passers-by who was looked at this knight, the soldier, and the observer is asking, oh, what can ail thee? Ail means, what is the disease you are suffering from? Because you are alone and palely loitering. You have become very weak and very pale. That means no color at all. Very pale and dull. Loitering. You are roaming here in these lonely places. What is actually wrong with you? The sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing. Sedge is a grassy plant, students, which grows in the near the woods and the lakes, and it is withered, means it has dried up. So that indicates the end of the spring season. Once the spring season comes to an end, the autumn sets in, the leaves fall off, and there is dryness everywhere. So in this kind of atmosphere, why are you loitering here at the seaside? He asked. So what can ail thee? What is really bothering you? What's the matter? Knight in shining armor. He's wearing an armor. Armor is a coat, students, a metallic coat which is really shining. Tells that he is in a very good position in the army. A knight who's wearing a shining armor holds a very good rank. Means he's very, very brave. And you are standing alone looking rather ill. The plant life by the lakeside has shriveled up, means withered, dried up, and the sound of the bird song is absent. At this moment, what are you doing here? Second stanza. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woe begone? The squirrel's granary is full and the harvest's done. So, what is the real ailment or the disease you are suffering from? So haggard, that means you look so tired, worn out, and ill, means your body is completely ill. Actually, literally, when Keats was writing this poem, students, he was in the third stage of the disease and he was coughing blood. So that was actually guiding him to write this poem. And so woe begone. That means you are really disturbed, upset, and distressed, full of sadness. Something has happened. Begone means happened. But actually, there was no need for you to feel so sad. Why? Because the squirrel's granary is full and the harvest done. That means all the human beings, they have harvested their crop, they reaped their crop. Again, tell me what's the matter? You look extremely distressed and sad. The squirrels have gathered their provisions. That means they are getting ready for the onsetting winter or anything. Now they have filled their barrels with kind of grains and all. So it's a time for you to sit and enjoy. And we humans have harvested our fields. The crop has come into our homes. So we should sit and enjoy the festivals and all. So why are you so sad? And again, the observer questions, I see a lily on thy brow, with anguish moist and fever dew, and on the cheeks a fading rose, fast withered too. So he says, there is a lily on thy brow. Lilies actually symbolize the death, students. When a person dies, they place lilies all over the body and they garland the people with lilies. So this observer says, why is there a lily on your face? With anguish moist and fever dew, as if you are suffering from fever. Actually, the knight or the poet is suffering from fever. Moist means the mucus. When they cough and they spit, the mucus spreads from the mouth. It's very difficult to spit it out. It is so sticky. So that is there on your face. And on thy cheeks a fading rose. Your cheeks are not healthy. You are a fair guy. Your cheeks must be rosy, but they are not rosy. They are fading. Fast withered too. There is dryness all over your body. So the first three stanzas are the question, students. The knight starts now from the fourth stanza onwards. The knight starts answering. Now he starts talking. Okay. He says, I met a lady in the meads. Meads means meadows, the green grasslands. Full beautiful, a fairy's child. She's not from our world. She's from a fairy. She's from the other world. And she's so beautiful. And I met her. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. I have never seen those kind of eyes in the humans in this world. So she must be from the other world. So here we uncover parallels with Keats' life. So whatever experiences Keats is undergoing, he tells us, students. Your forehead is pale like a lily and moist with the sweat of a painful fever. The color in your cheeks, once bright and lively as a rose, is fading extremely quickly. So why is this? The observer is asking. So first three stanzas, when you read the poem, students, you remember they are the questions from the observer or the passers-by, you can say. So when you write answers in the examination, you can use these points, students. Okay, then I, the knight, he's answering, met a woman in the meadows. She was so enchantingly beautiful, I assumed she was the child of fairy. She had long hair, she moved so gracefully, she seemed to hover over the earth. It's not like as if she's walking on foot, as if she's floating. And she had a mysterious wildness in her eyes. I have never seen that kind of mystical eyes in the human beings. That is how the poet started describing his experiences, students. Okay, these paraphrasing I have given in the at the bottom of slide, students. You can use them for your answers in the examination. In the fifth stanza, I made a garland for her head, and bracelets too, and fragrant zone. So I brought some um, actual jewels, and I gave her, and I made a garland, and I used the perfume, the scent also, and I decorated her. She looked at me as she did love and made sweet moan. Moan is a sound, very sweet sound she made, and she started singing to me as if she was loving me. That is the feel I got when I looked at her, when I decorated her with all those things. I set her on my pacing steed. Steed is the horse, students. Then I gently lifted her up and I placed her on the horse because I wanted to go on a ride along with her, and nothing else saw all day long. So a whole day I want to go. Nowadays people go for a long drive. So in the same way, he wanted to go on a long drive on his horse along with the girl. So from flowers, stems and leaves, I wove a crown for her to wear. That is, I made a garland for her head. I also wove her bracelets and a belt strong with the scent of flowers. I used to make it. Having received my gifts, she looked at me. It was the look of someone falling in love, and she moaned sweetly. Moan means making sounds. Then I sat her behind me on my trotting horse. Yet that whole day I saw nothing but her. As we trotted along, she would lean forward and around me, singing a mysterious fairy song. And nothing else saw all day long, for sidelong would she bend and sing a fairy song. She used to sing and sing as if the fairy only is singing to me. So that was his experience, students. Fourth stanza onwards, he's answering, he's telling his story, he's narrating his story. She found me roots of relish sweet and honey wild and manna dew. And after some time, we felt hungry and she just found some roots, very healthy and sweet roots which were found in the forest, and honey, wild honey she brought, and the manna dew. Manna dew is also a drink, students, a very healthy drink she made for me. And actually that drink is manna, the supernaturally nutritious substance provided by God to the Israelites. So it seems so. The Israelites, when they went out to Africa or other places, they used to take this manna dew. They believe that this is a supernatural nutritious substance given by the God only. So this is again an allusion. Remember allusion, I told you, it's a reference to other quotes or other popular statements. So that honey and the manadu, the drink, whichever drink she gave, it was like manadu for me. Manadu is especially given for Israelite students. When we stopped, she dug up sweet, nutritious roots for me. She served me wild honey and a substance so heavenly in taste. It reminded me of manna, the food that kept the Israelites alive on their journey out of Egypt. In a strange language that I nevertheless understood, she said, I truly love you. So she spoke also. So, but he doesn't believe her. I love thee true, she said. She took me to her elfin grot. Elfin grot is actually, grot means a miserable fairy or a wicked person, a very miserable person. This is also an allusion, students, a reference to a relevant person or thing. So this lady is being referred to an elfin, that means a fairy here. But how is the fairy? Fairies are supposed to be very kind and very generous. But this lady is not kind and generous. She is very miserable. And there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild eyes with kisses four. And she started crying, and so I closed her wild eyes and I kissed her. Next, she took me to her enchanted cave. There was a place, a cave like place. She took me there, where, overwhelmed with emotion, she wept and sighed. Sighed means making a noise, a sound. Something pained her, a painful noise. I shut those wild eyes of hers by kissing her 4 times in an attempt to soothe her. So I started consoling her. So he is speaking in a kind of trance, students, whether he is dreaming or whether he is a reality, we cannot understand. There is a thin line what the poet is trying to speak. Actually, he was collapsing, students. So people, when they become very weak and their deathbed, it's very, very difficult for them to differentiate between reality and dream or a trance. So that is how we have to understand this poem. Ninth stanza. And there she lulled me asleep, and there I dreamed, ah, woe betide. That means she started singing me a lullaby and put me to sleep. Then there I dreamed, oh, woe betide. Oh, woe betide means let all the tragedies or the sad things bygone. Let them go off betide. Means get over. The last dream I ever dreamt on the cold hillside. You remember she took him into a cave in the cold hillside. There, that was the last dream I dreamt over there. Next, she lulled me to sleep and I fell into a deep dream. It still fills me with sadness and despair to remember it. That was the last dream I ever had in that cave, which was located on a cold hillside. Why does he feel very sad? Because that was the last dream. After that, he never dreamt. So I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, death pale were they all. They cried, La belle dame sa mercy, thee hath in thrall. So what all did he see in the dream? It means dream. In the dream, I saw pale kings. The kings also were very pale, means dull, without any health. Princes and warriors gathered around me. I saw the color of death in all of their faces. They told me that La Belle Dame sans Mercy, the beautiful lady without mercy, had taken me as her prisoner. Means I am captured by her. Maybe he's referring to the death, students. So nobody can escape death. Is it possible for any human beings to escape death? No. So I'm captured. Though she's looking very beautiful because it's a kind of relief for him from all the pains and all. And then all the and he also saw the princes and warriors around him. You remember, can you locate, did you identify these skulls here, students? The people already who are dead before the poet. So that is the depiction here, students. There is no life in them also. They were also other princes. See here, they are all shouting here. They cried, La belle dame sir mercy, don't fall into the trap of that lady. Come out, he's telling. But it's not possible for anyone to come out of the um, uh, grasp of the death. So see, they are all shouting. The princesses and the other kings, they were shouting here. The last two stanzas. I saw their starved lips in the gloam, with horrid warning gaped wide. That means their lips are dried in the gloam. Gloam means the light. The dim light was there, and I can see their lips becoming dry, with horrid warning gaped wide. They were giving me a warning to me. Don't fall victim to her. Gaped means open mouth. And awoke and found me here on the cold hillsides. So all of a sudden I woke up. So till now he was actually in a trance, a kind of dream, and now he woke up, he says, in the cold hillside. See, these were all the princes and the kings with a gaped mouth, open mouth, they were all telling that. And this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing. You remember the first stanza, students? The sedge, the grass is withered at the lakeside and the birds are not singing. And the observer asked him, Why are you here? Now he's answering. See, this is the reason. I don't know how I fell into the trap of that lady, beautiful lady. Now she left me and she went off, and now I became so weak, I'm not able to get up and I am not able to do anything. And this is why I sojourn here. Sojourn means I'm traveling here, I'm loitering. Means just moving here alone and palely loitering. Means I was a knight, I was very strong, riding the horses, the strongest horses. But now I'm not even in a position to walk. Palely means very weakly loitering. Though the sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing, this is not the time for me to be here, but I am here. That means it is the end of the life. Here he is symbolizing the death. The death has come to me. Now I am just waiting for the death to encapture me. So this is the poem, students. Hope you understood it. The La Belle Dame sans Mercy, the beautiful lady without any pity. It could be, the lady could be his disease, the lady could be his death, or the lady could be the girl who ditched him, not ditched actually, who refused him. Fanny Brown, you remember? She refused him. So there is all regret. At the very young age, He's a world famous poet, students. At the very young, he wrote many thousands and thousands lines of poetry. But now the death has come to him and he has to die. So that is the poem, students. I gave the summary here. So I saw their love starved, life starved lips. The starved lips, I told you dried. What are they dried for? For love and for life. He desperately wanted to live. He desperately wanted to be loved because he's a good looking, handsome guy, and many girls also were friends with him. But nobody, the girl whom he loved did not reciprocate. So love starved, life starved lips in the dying light. Glow means dying light, dim light. These lips widened as they warned me about the trouble I'd gotten myself into. Then I woke up and found myself here on this cold hillside. Actually, they say Keats contracted this disease because of the opium consumption. Those days, opium is a drug, students. A drug. He used to consume it. So that addiction also really pushed him into the. That is what the trouble I'd gotten myself into. Who's responsible? He's blaming himself. I'm only responsible for this sad situation, he says. So that's the answer to your question. So in the last stanza, he's giving the answer. That's why I linger here alone, looking rather unhealthy, even though, as you say, the plant life by the lakeside has shriveled up and the sound of the bird song is absent. So during this time, I'm here because of this reason. So this is the question, students. I'm giving you the summary. So this summary you can rely for answering any question which is asked from this poem. Examine the character of the lady in the Mets. Argue whether or not she deserves to be labeled La Belle Dame Sans Merci. So, the poem whose title means The Beautiful Lady Without Pity describes the encounter between a knight and a mysterious elfin beauty, means fairy beauty, who ultimately abandons him. It is written in the style of a folk ballad with the first three stanzas a query, means three stanzas are a question to the knight, and the remaining nine stanzas the knight's reply. That story blurs the lines between fantasy and reality, whether he is in a trance or in reality, we don't understand, and emphasizes the fanciful aspects of the knight's experience. The knight tells the story of how he becomes obsessed with and then gets abandoned by a spirit known as La Belle Dame Sans Mercy, or the beautiful lady without mercy. Through seemingly aware Though seemingly aware she is an illusion, the knight lingers in his memory of the lady, and it's implied he will do so until he dies. So, as he dreams in the hillside cave, the knight learns from pale kings and princes, that means those who have already died, the lady's previous lovers, that he is in the deadly grips of a spirit known as La Belle Dame Sans Mercy. The dream is a fantasy within the night story, a kind of double fantasy, but it's also here that the knight finds the actual future reflected. Actually, there is no future. There was past was not a happy experience for him. Future also, it's blur. It's not clear. That is, at the deepest moment of his imaginative experience, the knight learns the truth about what has happened to him. Who is responsible for this kind of condition? By the end of the poem, the knight's actual lived reality becomes a fusion of the barren lakeside and the memory of his experience. The knight wakes from his dream on the cold hillside and surges back into the real world, that is, the world where the poem started. This moment raises the possibility that the knight was dreaming all along. Knight means the soldier or the poet himself. So, however, for the knight, waking doesn't imply an escape from the memory of the lady. Though he woke up from the dream, he still remembers that lady. Means indirectly he's telling that death is inevitable. In the last stanza, the first stanza is repeated. The knight acknowledges his place, alone and palely loitering by the lifeless lakeside. Why is it lifeless, students? Because the grass is dry and birds are not singing. And the poem's final image is of a desperate man lingering in the memory of an experience that may not have even happened. Ultimately, However, it doesn't matter whether the lady was ever really there. Unable to take his mind off this fantastical memory, but also unable to return to it, the knight ends up trapped in the place where his imagination merges with his reality. That is the cold hillside he imagines. So that's the summary, students. You can take these points and write your answer. Any queries? If you have any doubts, you can put them in the comment section. And if this tutorial has made any sense, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. And you all know the importance of liking. So it's not I'm asking for you, but the YouTube algorithm is made in such a way, if you like only, it will be shared with other people. Okay, students, thanks for watching. Take care and let's meet up in the next video. Bye bye.